A virus is released into the population. It kills millions. It is simply called the Red Death. A new city is born amongst the chaos, free from the disease, but only for the privileged. Hope emerges as a scientist is on the verge of a cure, but before she can finish it, she disappears.
Who are you?
In order to save her, her husband is forced down a path he might not come back from.
Riker, help me.
But you'd do anything to save the ones you love, wouldn't you? Anything?
Hey.
Haven't even added myself to my own stream.
How are you, man?
Hey, Rob. Good. How you going, brother?
Oh. Yeah,
Oops.
sorry. I didn't get the link then. Twitter was not working for a bit. So I'm furious. I'm really angry. I don't get angry often. But when I do, it's biblical. It's apocalyptic.
So we're just going to jump right into it then.
Yeah, I don't want to name names, and I don't want to go into much detail, but basically I had an agreement with someone. They were going to do work for me. They were doing that work, and then they stopped doing that work. Yeah,
guys. So I was talking to Rob, about an hour and a half ago, just, confirming, making sure it's all good to go for today. And yeah, it was all good. And then, I don't know, what was it? About 20 minutes later, he sends a message to our group with something sounding very concerning with regards to his book. So this is all kind of developing right now.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say, man.
Look, when you said it, and I guess that's why I asked you, what are we talking about here? And when you said what you said, I was like, holy crap, this is huge. Like, this is a massive deal.
And you get someone to do something for you and they agree to do it, then they have to see it out. If they don't like doing it, then that's tough. They shouldn't have agreed to it. You've got to finish what you start. And
absolutely. I mean, especially in this environment where trust and professionalism and a bit of camaraderie is, I mean, these are really important things to trade on. It's it's a very bizarre turn of events. Can I just say how to everyone who's come? We've got a bunch of people here. Blue Samurai's come along. Smiling Banditos here. Poland's here. Thanks so much, guys, for coming. We've got 8 guys so far. Of course, as happened yesterday and seems to be happening all the time, everyone is streaming at this hour. Unfortunately, it's the only hour that I get to stream in the day, so I can't change that. But we're just gonna have to go head to head with the big dogs.
That's fine.
Is what it is. So yeah, this is this has got me shaken, because this isn't really what I was thinking we were going to be talking about.
No, I don't want to go into it too much, because I don't know how I'm going to handle it yet. I'm sure everyone who's worked in comics and all other fields have been in a position like this before, I'm sure, where an agreement is made between people, and for whatever reason the person doesn't finish it, and then nothing really happens, and I'm just sick of it. Like, I'm just sick of people getting free passes. You've got to be accountable for your own actions. So that's where I am.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I know I don't have these issues because I'm my team. So that has its own issues. It's slower to happen. all the responsibilities on my shoulders. But on your side of things, this kind of thing can happen. And as we've been seeing, we have a little Australian group chat on Twitter thing. It's something that does happen, and it can really, depending on who it is and sort of what job they have on the team, it can really throw a book, for six. It's really crazy. I'm still kind of in shock for you too.
Yeah, like I'm in a really good position, right? Because of the success of this campaign that we're looking at now and the one before it, I can afford to hire artists up front and pay for them and get the book done before we go to Replicator 3, which is what they're working on now anyway. But if I wasn't in that position, right, and this happened, that would be like really difficult, because that would push the book back. People that have backed it will be waiting longer. And it also like, it makes me ask the question, like, this person has done pages for me. So do I have to now find someone who's going to copy his style and apply it to the rest of the book? Or do I go back and I, start from the start? Can
I ask how many pages were completed?
It's only 6, so it's not a huge amount. But it's more so the principle too. Like, we all have a certain amount of tolerance that we can take, and I like to think that I'm really, really good to people I work with. Like, I pay them on time, if not up front. I go out of my way to get them other jobs if I can. I like to help them make connections, and don't ask much in return, Don't ask much in return. So, this has really got me angry. And like I said, I don't get angry much.
You struck me. I see a lot of similarities between you and I.
Yeah, and I probably shouldn't be on
you strike me as a kind of stoic fella,
because I'm angry. So there we go.
All right. Well, let's try and leave it there. I'm sure people will be curious now, and it's going to come out eventually. But let's sort of leave it there for now. And we'll just like to. I just like to talk about you for this stream. If that's something you're into.
Always.
I think the Replicator, it's been around for a number of months now. We've all seen it. You've had some really good spotlights on Ethan's channel and other shows. I've seen you've been like someone who's really gotten themselves out there, gotten your face out there, gotten your book out there. So people know your book. They've seen a lot of the art, but maybe they don't know you that much. So that's what I like to ask, like, who's Rob Arnold? Why are you crazy enough to want to do a comic book? That's sort of where I like to start.
Okay. So I've liked comics most of my life. Growing up, I liked comics. We only really had access to Judge Dredd and Phantom where I was. All the US stuff I couldn't get access to. But yeah, I said this before. I don't relate to a lot of the mainstream heroes. Like, a lot of the mantras they talk about is, do the right thing, everything will work out, that kind of stuff. And I found that doing that stuff when I was a teenager, and things would not work out, right.
Reality bites.
Yeah, man. Like, you'd get bullied. My parents were divorced. And just like lots of things that are completely the opposite to what they say. And also the fact that some of the biggest issues they face center around their secret identities and keeping them safe. And I'm like, people deal with so much bigger issues than that in real life. It's just like, it doesn't do it for me. So I find myself relating more to like the villains who often are just doing things that they feel they have to do to get by, or doing what they feel is right, even though it might not be right technically.
There's a bit of grey morality there. I totally see what you're saying. Now that I think about it, the way you've worded it, it is true. If you were to do everything just exactly by the book, in life and never skirt in those little gray areas, and you would, people would just walk all over you. The world would take advantage of you, and you might not get the good things done that need to get done.
Yeah. And like you're a good kid, you study hard, you're nice to people, but that doesn't stop your parents splitting up. That doesn't stop bullies bullying you. It's just it's life isn't like that, unfortunately. So yeah.
Bring it to comic books. You do the best. You do a really amazing comic book, and if you don't know the right people, and you don't get it in front of the right audiences, it can just languish nowhere, and no one ever sees it.
Yeah.
Even though you've done all the right thing, you put in all the hard work, you made it perfectly and everything. There's other things involved in life. It's more complex and grey than that. It's an interesting perspective you got there.
Yeah, well, I've talked about this. I've got depression. I've had it for a long time, and in my teens, I didn't realize what it was back then. But yeah, that's messed with me bad. So yeah, that's kind of where Replicator came from. I wanted to have a world where you didn't fall into the tropes. So you didn't have the humans versus mutants type thing. You didn't have superheroes concerned about their secret identity. Everyone is just doing what they can to survive and doing what they think is right, whether it's right or wrong. So that's
yes,
backbone of it.
So have you written other things before?
No, this is my first ever book, and I was really lucky. I was into comics as a teen and a young kid, and I fell into the trap that I think society sets for you. You've got to work your 9 to 5, but really you don't have to when you're a young person.